We're live. So today's interview is going to be with Jay Butler. Just waiting for people to come on. Hello everyone that's just joined. Today's podcast is going to be with Black Belt Jay Butler from Andy Roberts BJJ. Just got to wait for him to come on, then I'll add him in and we can get started. Let's see if I can add him in. Hope everyone is well. Oh, there's Jay.
Hello, mate.
Hey, Jay.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah,
good. Thank you, mate. Good. Do you know what? Before we get started, the important question and a new little thing that we got going is every time we have a little interview or a talk, you have to have a beer, mate.
I don't drink, mate.
Ah, the second one without the beer. It's fine.
I stopped drinking a long time ago, mate. I don't do too well on alcohol.
All right, I'll drink it for you then, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
How you been?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. How about yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. Yeah, good. All good in the hood. Just had a obviously, I don't know if you watched, but had a bit of an interesting one with Mark Hunt on Saturday. And then obviously as time's gone on, just working our way through people and
It's good, man. It's really good.
Just trying to keep the sort of the main aim of it is just keep people in touch and feel like they can still listen in to people like yourself, me, other people that they're interested in, and still feel a bit connected because they can ask questions.
Yeah.
You know, and because this time, lots of people are a bit down in the dumps and stuff, and like this type of thing, listening to people talk. So
I do like to talk, mate.
Insight into people's lives, I suppose. So we'll get started, mate. So
right, mate.
Obviously, we'll kind of act as if nobody knows who you are, and we can have a little bit of a talk through your history in combat sports. So the first question for you, mate, is when and how did you get involved in martial arts? What age were you? What year was it? How did you get started?
I got started quite late. When I was younger, I used to play a lot of football. So I was quite obsessed with playing football and wasn't really interested in martial arts. You know, I had quite a bit of a crappy upbringing and parents didn't really, weren't too keen on me. I was abandoned sort of like at 7. So I had to grow up very, very quickly. So I spent a lot of time down. I lived next to a big field, so I spent a lot of time just playing football and, as you do, causing trouble as young lads do. And then when I left school, I got into sort of lifting weights and just going to the gym to keep myself occupied.
Yeah.
I'm one of these people that I can't just sit in a gym and not have music on or something. I'll be watching something like a YouTube video or something. I was always interested in fighting, boxing and stuff like that. Quite a few fights when I was a young kid and stuff like that. So I had like a little gym at home. I used to work out a lot at home. And I used to watch old boxing DVDs. I just think they were brilliant. Like, spur me on, the guys training and fighting, stuff like that. And my missus used to work with someone. And he said, if your boyfriend's into this, he might like this. And she gave him a UFC DVD. And I said, that's most people. And it was Matt Hughes versus BJ Penn when BJ choked Matt out for the first time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't keen on it. I really wasn't. I was like, I'm not a fan of this. What's this stuff on the floor rolling around? And as you do.
Yeah.
And then I sent it back, carried on. She brought back another one, UFC 70. And I watched Gonzaga head kick Crow Cop. And I was just like,
nasty that was, yeah.
Yeah. What is this madness? And then I watched the special features. And there was a section on it on jiu-jitsu. And they started talking about the roots of jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And so I just carried on like buying UFC DVDs, got into MMA, watching it and stuff like that. And there was nowhere around here really to train. And then I heard from an old friend of mine that Andy was coming down from Sheffield to start school. I think he was in Woking at the time. He was in a school. And my missus sort of begged me to go. I'll go give it a go, go train. And it takes me a lot to do something, and I'm quite a shy person when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And she kept going on, and a year went past, and this individual that got me the train was eventually got his blue belt, and he was talking about training. And then my missus just goes, just go and give it a go. I thought, okay, I'll go down. I tried one class, and I can put my hand on my heart. I've not left Andy since. 6-7 days a week. 6 in the morning till 9 at night I'm down there. I'm obsessed with the place. So it's really sort of my missus pushing me to get into martial arts. And at the time I was 26 when I started, so I started really, really late.
Yeah.
But whenever I've done something, I always thought, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly. And
Yeah.
the more I got out of jiu-jitsu, the more I put into it. And, you know, and it's got me to where I am now, you know, been able to do it, you know, the privilege of working for Andy full-time, teaching PTs and competing, man. I couldn't ask for anything else, you know. It's been amazing.
Brilliant. How long did it take you to get your black belt?
I got my black belt in 2017 and I started in 2009. So that's 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah, of non-stop though. I mean, like, we're talking 7 days a week. I was, you know, when I first started there, we had a Tuesday evening class, a Wednesday evening no-gi class, a Friday class, and a Saturday morning class, and that was it. Now We've got about 5 classes every day, apart from Sunday, and we've got an open mat that starts on a Sunday now as well. Obviously, before the madness started, and I'm, like I said, man, I'm pretty much there from 6 in the morning until we lock up at night.
And when you were a white belt and a blue belt, were you and when the training started to up, how did you find sort of juggling it with work?
Well, do you know what? That was the hardest thing. When I started jiu-jitsu, I was a duty manager in a leisure centre, and we used to have to work shifts. So it was like 6 in the morning till 3, or 3 till 11:30 at night. So what I would do is I would work double shifts. So I'd do 6 in the morning till 11 on, say, like a Monday, so I could do Tuesday day class and Tuesday night and train double the next day instead of only being able to train twice. And I did that. Oh God, I give up working Saturdays. I've worked Saturdays evenings for 11 years now. I give up in November when I quit working and started full-time jiu-jitsu. So I've not spent a weekend, like full string of weekends with my kids since they've been born. I used to train Saturday mornings and work Saturday nights just so I could train throughout the week without being interrupted. Yeah.
And that's only something you've recently stopped then?
I stopped in November working. I went from full-time a few years ago to part-time, and then I decided to take the leap. I, you know, doing well at Andy's. Andy offered me some more money, which was nice of him. And then I'm not sort of a big materialistic person. I don't buy a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? I drive a fancy car, I drive a Volkswagen Up, for God's sake. As long as I can train, so I'm not sort of, you know, have to be constantly buying things. The money wasn't a problem, so I quit my job in November, and obviously November, December, January were going well, and then obviously this hit us, and we've slowed down. But
yeah, of course.
I just can't wait to get back, man. I really can't. I'm struggling now.
No amount of making pillow dummies is going to help, is it? You know what I mean? Or does it?
No, it's useless.
So obviously, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wasn't just your only form of combat sports you did. You went into MMA as well, correct?
Yeah. I obviously am a big fan of the UFC and obsessed with MMA and Pride and stuff like that. I don't think that you can judge someone on doing something unless you have done it yourself. So I'll be talking about MMA and giving my sort of little points and stuff. And I thought, I've got no right really to do that because I've not gone through a fight camp. I've not stood in a cage. I've not made weight. I've not done a weigh-in. I haven't felt what it is like and all the emotions you go through to do an MMA fight. So I think it was 2012 when I was just coming towards the end of my blue belt. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. Just see what it's like. Just put my jiu-jitsu to the test. That's essentially all I wanted to do it for. So I signed up for an really old MMA. Back when it weren't so big, it was Into the Cage in Andover. There was like 100 people in this dingy little leisure centre. And it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And I remember getting to the weigh-ins and I fought at 66.
Yeah.
And I'd never fought before, MMA, anything like that. And I got there and the promoter said, your opponent's changed. I was supposed to be fighting someone that had making their debut. And he goes, you're fighting a guy that's 3-0 as an amateur and 2-0 semi-pro. And I was like, so he's won 5 fights then. He's like, yeah. And me back in the day when I was younger, I was like, yeah, cool, that'll do. I'll just do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I turned up the next night, and I thought, if I just get this guy down, I feel confident in my jiu-jitsu. And I took him down for 3 rounds solid, mate. And I am not joking you. I smashed his head into that canvas of that cage for 3 4-minute rounds non-stop, to the point where my hand was so swollen at the end of the fight, I couldn't believe the ref didn't stop it. I was literally like this, looking at the ref for about 4 minutes, thinking it's over. And but it was a great experience, and so I got that win, and I thought, you know what, that'd be it. I just want to concentrate on my jiu-jitsu, just want to get good at martial arts. And I got offered another one, and I won that by submission in like 30-40 seconds, and then I got a bit of a taste for it, and I've done another one. Brian Adams was kind enough to offer me a place on Shock and Awe. So I thought I'm not getting younger. I was 29 at the time, I think, and I thought I'll go pro. So I thought one more semi-pro, and I dropped to 135, and then I made my pro debut in 2014, and I won that in like 1 minute and 40 seconds with a rear naked choke. Yeah. And then I just went on from there, man. But it's incredible. It's a lot of people that criticise MMA fighters who've not done it haven't got a clue. Like, it's the most. Yeah. It's so taxing on your body, so taxing on your mind. I find the mental prep with my kids and the wife, and dropping to 135. Because I was a big 135. It's just crazy.
What do you walk around at?
Well, because I compete so much at the moment at 70 kilos, I try to sit at 70 on the dot. But that's when I fought Cam. I dropped from 72 kilos. And I did 10 kilos. This is no word of a lie. 24 hours before we fought.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you feel after such a massive weight cut?
Do you know what? That never bothered me. It was more the mental factor of doing it. I hated it, but I always did it, and I always made weight. I prided myself on that. I did it, and I felt great on that night, mate. Like, at the end of the day, he's just better than me, and that's it. You know, I'm not one of these people to make excuses. I just got beaten by someone that was way better than me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And to be honest, you're not. This happened. The beauty of the MMA, I find, is it's happened to everybody.
Yeah.
To the best in the world, like to the people that are just first starting out, it's happened to everyone, and that's what's so beautiful about the sport in a weird way. You know, where you get like boxing, where people got these massive records and they've been padded, and it's been like an easy road. It's not like that with MMA. Anything can change within one punch, one kick. One elbow, one knee at any time, can't it? And that's the beauty of our sport.
Well, that's I think that's what I like about my attitude I have about competing in jiu-jitsu now. Like, when my phone goes and I get offered an opponent, people like Ashley Williams, Camille Wilk, Frank Rosenthal. I've had so many people saying, "Oh, why are you fighting these guys? You know, they're half your age," and they're like, because why not? Like, don't get it. You know, I'm a black belt. They're a lot younger than me, but they're still black belts. They're still human beings, you know, and I can look back when I physically can't compete anymore and I have to stop, and I'm, going to go until my body breaks. I can look back and say, I fought that guy. I fought that guy. I fought that guy. You know, I've jumped in there with them and gone, I'm going to go for it. Whereas, when I got to fight Ash the second time, and Chris Thompson messaged me from Grapplefest, he said the amount of people that refused to fight him, and it just baffled me. It's like, why?
It's crazy.
If you're going to lose to one of the best in the world. You might as well go out there and give it all, wouldn't you?
Exactly. How did you find the mental challenges differ between MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Preparing for a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fight to preparing for an MMA fight.
I think, do you know what the MMA thing is? I think the MMA thing is the weight cut. That's what did it for me. I was never afraid of fighting. I don't mind getting smashed in the face. If you're going to get knocked out, you're going to knock out. You wouldn't know about it until afterwards anyway. You know what I mean? I think my biggest problem was, obviously, I'm an instructor at the academy. And when I started my career, I did really well. I went like 5, 6 fights undefeated. And as I moved more into my pro career, it started, what if this is the night? What if this is the night? You know what I mean? It starts creeping into your head. And I think that's what killed it for me. I mean, after I signed my last contract with Bama, I was supposed to fight Chris Mir. And Chris is an incredible fighter. You know what I mean? I watched him bang people out in the first round. And unfortunately, it was 2 days before the weigh-ins that he had to pull out. He had a back injury. And I know, he recovered well from it. But so I didn't fight Chris. And then after that, I started to lose sort of the will to fight. You know what I mean? I started thinking, becoming fearful of it. Oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And when I started thinking like that, I thought, you know what? My mind obviously not in MMA anymore. And that was, I signed one more with Bama to fight Blaine O'Driscoll.
Yeah.
And another great fighter. You know what I mean? I had no fear of fighting anyone. And I broke my hand like about 3 or 4 weeks before. And I think
Yeah.
physically, mentally, that sort of just killed it for me. I thought, you know what, if you're not going to put everything into fighting MMA, it's time to hang up my gloves.
Yeah.
And then I took a step back for a bit just to sort of improve, you know, spend more time at home with the kids and stuff. And I thought I'd jump in and start doing a few jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff like that. And I got offered to do a few sub-only fights.
Yeah.
There's nothing more I love than fighting a sub-only fight. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. The walkout, the 10-minute, just do what you want, go mad for 10 minutes. And then that just reinvigorated my love with sort of competing again, you know. And over the last 2 years, Grapple Fest, Battle Grapple, Polaris, Pantheon, you know, Ace Submission. I think I've fought on pretty much every sub-only show in the country now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
And it's been great.
Do you ever sort of sit back and obviously where you've improved as a grappler and your submissions and your ground game? Do you ever look back and think, do you know what? Yeah, I could step back in there in the cage again. I could beat some of these guys. The confidence in your grappling sort of exponentially getting big. Do you ever look at it like that? Do you ever go to any MMA shows and think, yeah, do you know what? I reckon I could beat him.
Oh God, yeah. You know, we got a load of up and comers at Andy's now. Me and my good friend Paul Wright, our striking coach, has started a sort of an MMA class there now. And we've got these two guys, Fergal Shivers and Adam Game. And Adam's 18 years old, mate. Honestly, you see that kid strike, and he is incredible. I cornered him and Ferg at the last Shock and Awe, and Adam TKO'd his opponent in the second round. I mean, beautiful. 18-year-old, like he's a killer. And training them on a Saturday and getting involved and stuff does make me think maybe you got one more left. Maybe because I'm currently going out on a loss. Like Cam was my last fight, and that was 5 years ago. You know, and I was booked to fight afterwards, but obviously, like I said, Chris had to pull out, and I got injured training for Blaine. And I thought, you know what, it's time to hang up. But now that my no-gi game, I've concentrated more on no-gi over the last 2 years. You know, I definitely have to get back and work on a lot of striking though, mate, because I cannot punch and kick right now. But never say never, you know what I mean? I might think to myself, you know, just one more and try and go out and win one more, because I just enjoy the training, man. I enjoy training for something. It spurs me on. You know, not that I need much motivation to train because I do it every day, but I love being in fight camp. I think that's why over the last two years, I've spent 90% of my time in a fight camp, just going from one fight to the other, to that one name to the next, or if I haven't got anything booked up, I just enter any random competition that I can. You know, I just love training for something. It just makes me want to go and just give it 100% all day, every day. You know, I love that sort of feeling. Love it.
So one of the biggest things I noticed, and a lot of other people would have noticed as well, is in your game. So you, like you said, you started to compete a lot of submission only, and a lot of no-gi stuff as well. Can you just like explain us or talk us through the process of when you started to sort of incorporate the leg locks more into your game and having to kind of work your way around and figure out a system? Because anyone that follows you on social media will see that you've got a lot of beautiful setups for heel hooks and lovely moves you got going on, especially for nogi. So anyone that doesn't follow Jay, get onto his Instagram and follow Jay Butler, BJJ. But can you just talk us through that process of when it first came into your mind and when you first thought, right, I want to start working on leg locks?
I think we got a black belt who trains with us called Chris Ong. And he's been into like heel hooks for years. I mean, before the Danaher Death Squad made it big, and Chris has always talked about heel hooks. And he's always talked about teaching a heel hook class at Andy's. And he started, I think it's 2.5 years ago. January it was, he started teaching a heel hook class, and it was Danaher's simple reverse X to saddle. That's the first thing he taught. I remember it like yesterday. And I've always liked to wrestle. I love wrestling, absolutely love it. And you don't, it's weird, 'cause you don't feel like a wrestler when you're wearing your gi. So I started doing more and more sort of no gi, and Chris started this class, and mate, I just got obsessed with it. So I've got like a group of lads that train with me, killers like Connor Campbell, Cameron Berriton, Tom Strong, my friend GK and Gareth Davies. We all meet up like on a Monday at 5 o'clock, and we would just rep. Leg locks, roll and train. And then we do it again on a Wednesday, and then do a no-gi class straight afterwards. And they've actually become proper classes at Andy's now, because so many people were turning up to join in. So I started rolling more and more no-gi during the week than I was gi. I teach about 7 or 8 classes in my gi a week, but I predominantly roll more no-gi. And then I got asked to do a sub-only fight. I was on Battle Grapple. I got to fight Igor Tereko.
Yeah.
I've lost to Igor at purple belt in the gi, and Igor's gi game's unreal. I thought, okay, I'll go in no gi and I just want to try and heel hook someone, get a heel hook in a competition. So we just spent 10 minutes with me trying to rip his legs off and Igor trying to escape, basically. He almost caught my back at the last minute or so, but, he didn't catch me enough in the draw. And then after that, the offers for Chris offered me Grapple Fest, and that was a couple of months later. I ended up heel hooking another high-level and underrated brown belt. It's Harry McKnight. He's got a great leg lock game. I ended up heel hooking him, and I just got a taste for it, mate. So me and this little crew and loads of other guys at Andy's just started working on more and more and more. We do Chris's class every Saturday, and we've got, I think it's like 10, 11 black belts that turn up for that class now. And
bloody hell.
Yeah. So, but I, like I said, mate, I'm obsessed with it. So, whenever I can, whoever's about, I will meet up with, and we'll just drill. We'll just rep stuff, you know what I mean? Go through it and then roll and then try it out, Like I said, I made a promise to myself, after we get out of all this, all I'm going to concentrate on for the next year or couple of years is literally just becoming an out-and-out leg locker. Because I sort of, over the last 20 years, I've gone from a bit of both. I like a bit of top position, a bit of bottom and stuff like that, but I'm just going to constantly sit on my butt and just try and tear people's legs off.
So do you know what? Kind of answer my next question actually was where do you like to attack the heel hook from? What's your favourite position, from bottom or from top? But obviously bottom is the.
I go through phases. Yeah, I go through phases. It depends on. Sometimes it depends on my opponent, who I'm fighting as well. I will never sort of have the arrogance to go, oh, I think I'm better than someone there. I will train specifically to beat that person. So, I tell you, when I fought Marco, Marco Cannon, one of the best black belts in Europe. When I got offered to fight him, it was like, wow, what? I'm actually fighting. That's someone who my coach was fighting back in the day.
Yeah, I actually remember. Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I don't want Marco on top of me. Yeah, I was there. I fought that Polaris when he beat Ashley Grimshaw, and I fought Ashley as well. And Ashley's one of the strongest human beings I've ever grappled with. But Marco was able to pass his guard with ease. So I thought, I'm not going to sit. I'm going to try and force him to shoot on me. So when he did, I was able to turn and hit the heel hook from the top. But when I fought a few weeks later, I then sat down and was attacking the heel hook from the bottom. But I just, do you know what? I just go for whatever, man. Whatever they'll give me and whatever I can get, I'll be happy to do,
Mate, one of the most common questions I get asked actually as a coach, and actually I'm intrigued to see what your thought is on this as well, and for people to hear your thought on this, is when you go into the fights, do you go into them with a game plan? Obviously, judging off what you just said, you do. So when you get asked that question, what's your answer and why?
Do you know why I have a game plan? It's something that George St. Pierre said a long time ago. He goes into a fight with a game plan. And what it is, he looks at it, and this is how I look at it and how I teach it, is it's like a road. Okay, and if I'm on a straight road, I know I'm on the path to victory. If I deviate from that path, I know I have to get back onto that road to win. So it always gives me something to aim for and to go for. You understand? Mm-hmm. So I'd rather go in knowing what I'm going to do than go, I'll just slap hands and wing it. Because I have no direction and I'm not focused on what I'm doing. And it's not for everyone. I think it's a personal thing. Some people just go in there and go, well, I'm a grappler, I can just react. And some people can. And I think that's great. And I can. But when I've had my most success in competition is when I've gone in and I've stuck to, right, stick to what you know you've been training for and what you're going to do. And I've very rarely been beaten that way. It's when I go in and go, I'll just see what happens. 9 times out of 10, that's when I get beaten. You know what I mean? So I sort of deviate from that game plan. And like I said, it's not for everyone. Some people just go in there and like to do what happens. But I think 90% of the better guys, who I spoke to, who I've competed against, have said, I went in to do this, like fighting Camille. You knew that Camille was just going to try and murk my legs, and he did for 10 minutes. When I fought Ash, I knew he was going to try and put me down and pass my guard. I did not think, and he didn't. Ash would sit down because he's one of the best guard passers in the world, So that's his game plan: take me down, pass my guard. But I always try to, if I can, stick to it.
Yeah, Who was the best? Who would you say was the best no-gi guy that you fought? I know this is a really tough question because you fought Ross Nichols, you fought, like you say, Ashley Williams, you fought a lot of good guys, and this question's going to be just. I'm going to break this question down in a few different places. So, who would you say was the best no-gi guy that you fought? Will be the first question. The second one would be the best no-gi person you fought that was your favourite fight, no-gi.
Oh man, God, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I knew this would be a tough one. I knew this would be a tough one.
Not one person stands out. I think in the space last year, in the space of 3 months, I fought Frank Rosenthal, Camille Wilk, and Ashley Williams. Then a week later, I fought Ross Nichols. I mean, you can't pick out of them sort of, guys. I think probably my two favourite people to compete against would be Ross Nichols and Ashley Williams.
Yeah.
Just because, don't get me wrong, like Camille is world class, and Camille as well is one of the nicest blokes I've ever met in my life. Same as Frank, and Frank's world class. Just because they're from the UK, they're really nice, humble guys, and and I've got to know them quite well after I fought them, especially Ashley. Like I speak to Ashley, we message back and forth quite often, but it's just. I know you must have it when you've competed yourself and you roll with some people and you think, God, this guy's got something that I just don't have at this time.
Yeah.
And I remember fighting Ash because I've fought Ash twice now, once in the gi and once no gi. And I remember trying to explain to the guys what it's like to fight him, no gi. I said the best way to describe fighting Ashley Williams is like trying to fight smoke. You can see him, but you can't keep hold of him. You think you're in a good position, and you're not in a good position. So when he kindly did that charity seminar for my son, we popped down the academy while the leg lock class was going on Saturday morning. And he said, "Oh, do you think the guys would mind if I roll?" And I was like, "Not at all, mate."
No, I think they're going to be fine with that.
So I got asked to roll with a few of my close friends, and their jaws just dropped. They were like, "I cannot believe how good that guy is." He's just phenomenal. And it's the best person that I've ever fought. Probably I'd have to say Ash, because I fought him twice and he's owned me both times.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal grappler.
Who would you like to fight, no-gi? If you had a dream choice, one person you could fight, one person you'd want to fight.
Is this any weight?
Any weight, yeah. Whoever you would.
It would be the King. I'd love to fight Gordon Ryan.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? Wouldn't want to look back and go, I fought the King. I fought Gordon Ryan. Whether he annihilates me in 10 seconds or 10 minutes, I wouldn't care. I mean, I've already fought two of Danaher's boys already and lost to both of them. So that fighting a third and losing wouldn't be too bad.
Obviously, you much prefer the submission only no-gi grappling. But outside of that, what's your favourite competition? Do you prefer IBJJF or do you prefer the UAE? What would be like a standout gi competition that you liked to compete in or did compete in?
Do you know what? The gi competition, I've not done a great deal of IBJJF. I think I've done one IBJJF, and that was the Europeans, because only a few. I mean, my closest friends know, but I don't actually fly. I'm terrified of flying. So they call me Mr. T. I never leave the country. So about 3 weeks after I got my purple belt in 2012, the Europeans come to London.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, and it was the first time I ever competed no-gi. And I thought, I'll jump in that. And I lost in the final by one advantage.
It's painful, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and that is the only IBJJF comp I've done. So for gi, I mean, I'm always a big fan of the British Open. I like Braulio's comp. I mean, he runs it well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the only one that I really do gi now. I mean, I've done it last year and won it. I've won it a few times now in the gi. But I prefer just any local comps, anything that can get me moving or in between submission only fights. But I think the submission only scene is getting so big now. There's pretty much comps coming up every couple of months now, isn't there now? And
there's stuff all over the place.
Yeah, you've got like Pantheon, Grapple Fest, Battle Grapple, Ace Submission, all these other things. And I dare say when we get back to a bit of normality, it's going to end up blowing up even more, and more people across the UK are going to do it, you know. And once I fought on Tough. Do you remember Tough? The submission?
Yeah, I remember Tough. Yeah.
Back in the day. Once I fought on that twice, and I enjoyed my time on that. And that's when I become sort of more obsessed with the sub-only scene. You know, I'm not a big fan of the points game. You know, I'm not a big fan of winning by points. I mean, I fought Lewis Finocchio at the British Open in December, and I was 2 points down with 7 seconds to go. And I passed his guard and won by 1 point in the last 7 seconds. I mean, I won, but did I win? You know what I mean? I won by points.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, the thing is, and again, because it was IBJJF rules, there was 3 or 4 times in that fight where I had him in saddle, and I was looking at his leg and thinking, oh, I can't actually do anything.
Can't touch it.
Trying to straight foot like a Brazilian is pretty much impossible anyway, but I just couldn't heel hook him or do anything. So, you know, I'm not a big fan of the point system, if I'm honest. You know what I mean?
What is your favourite rule set to fight to? Because a lot of people would say the argument is with the sub-only stuff is guys don't have to play safe, do they? So they can let you pass guard or let you get to a certain position. So sometimes it can kind of like saturate the sport a little bit for watching it, in the sense that there's not a great deal of action or whatever.
Yeah. No.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I totally agree. This is a big argument and stuff. Like, I like the ADCC rules. You know, no points for so long, and then there will be point scoring coming into play. But then you've got like a flip side on that. You get people that will use the sub-only side just to play it safe, and as soon as there are points involved, they'll go for their guard pass and win it tactically. You know what I mean? I think if I was to compete under any rules, it would be them rules. I do like them rules, or the 3-point judging system. Like, I like the way Polaris do things.
Yeah.
You know, the person is attacking and actively trying to win the fight should win the fight. Like a couple of fights I've had on Battle Grapple, you know, I generally think if you were scoring that, I've won clearly. But the other person gets their hand raised with me and it's a draw, and you're thinking, the last guy I fought on there. You know, I literally at one point was chasing him around the mat. You know what I mean? And he even said to me backstage, "I come just not to lose." It's like, you know what I mean? What is the point? I don't get it. You know, you come to the fight to the UK, you know, to the UK to fight. Why not just go for the kill and try and take my head off? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you know, and then we both got hands raised. But at the end of the day, I was trying to kill him for like 10 minutes, and you know what I mean? It's, you know.
Man. I just want to address some of the people that have commented. There's most dope BJJ's commented about you not laughing about you not liking the planes. And what's IBJJF? Cameron Els has come on, put a thumbs up, said hello. He said he hopes you're okay. Dave Cartel said maybe you can do a seminar at Silverbacks. Connor's on here as well. Just saying hello. Danny Dell's put on here. He said he fought you and Tough. Really enjoyed the match that you guys had.
Danny's a good lad, man. Really good lad.
Carvey13 is on here. Put a thumbs up. Quite a lot of people just sort of putting thumbs up and saying hello and waving and stuff. Guys, feel free to ask questions and I'll try and get to them if I can. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? With the rule set and the no-gi submission and gi submission. I mean, one of the questions I did want to ask you actually was, and I get asked this a lot, is what? I don't know if it was the same for you, but I remember when I was brown belt, and when I first got my brown belt, all of a sudden you're released to this new rule set where your feet can be attacked, your knees can be attacked, biceps slices, so on and so forth. And you're having to learn the game fresh almost. You're having to learn these new submissions, things you haven't worked on before. Because for me, I hadn't previously worked on them. Worked on knee bars or toe holds or anything like that. And then by the time you sort of venture onto black belt, obviously you've had a good few years working those submissions, and obviously the rules aren't any different between black and brown. So a lot of people ask me, why don't we learn these submissions from white, blue and purple belt? And then by the time we get to brown and black belt, we're a lot more versed in it. What's your thoughts on that? And is your school the same, where you weren't able to train those submissions before you got brown and black belt?
Yeah, I mean, when I started in 2009, when you mentioned the word heel hook, it was completely outlawed. Andy said, if anyone tries to heel hook me in class, I'll smack you in the face. Right? We weren't allowed, we
Straight
weren't
to the
allowed,
point.
literally, yeah. The boss weren't messing around. We literally weren't allowed to heel hook at all. Okay, and obviously it was very strict on no knee bars or toe holds until you're a brown belt. But like I said, where I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to jiu-jitsu, I like to learn, and I'll learn anything from anyone, and I like to train and rep. I started learning like late blue belt, purple belt, like toe holds and knee bars and the straight foot lock. I fell in love with the straight foot lock, and I committed myself 6 months. No word of a lie, mate. 6 months where it was the only submission that I would allow myself to do. And it got to the point when I was rolling at Andy's and people would be telling me to fuck off and do something different because I guess. But I wanted to learn the ins and outs of it, just so I knew how to apply it, where I could apply it from, and the breaking pressure. Because you get a lot of people that will tap to a certain lock in the academy, and when you go to, I remember trying to put on my first heel hook, trying to heel hook someone and thinking people tap really quick at the academy. Why isn't this guy tapping? Because I didn't know what I was doing, not properly. You know what I mean? I'll try and admit that. And so I started quite earlier on. So when I got my brown belt, I think my first brown belt fight, it was actually Ashley Grimshaw. And when you find a beast like Ashley, and I remember I caught him early on in the fight, the deepest toe hold, and Ash is one tough mofo, and he wouldn't tap to nothing, and I ended up beating me on points, and I ended up armbarring the next guy, and having to fight Ash again in the final. And it was pretty much the same thing, you know. But I made sure I started quite earlier on because I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. About that jump from, you know, it changes, not just changes on what you can, the submissions you can do, but guys, one of the most basic open guards you learn is De La Hiva. Even playing De La Hiva, the danger of holding that now because you can't have your leg. People don't recognise that. Oh, I've played De La Hiva. I've been knee barred or I've been toe hold. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's sort of like you have to be wary of everything. So I try to get myself on that sort of path ASAP. Like, you know, late blue, definitely early purple belt. And
what about for your students? For your students, when they ask you, do you take that same thought path? Will you teach those techniques to blues and purple belts, or even lower?
Yeah, I mean, because there's a lot of instructors at Andy's, you know, and we'll do different things differently. You know, a lot of big black belts, a lot of small black belts and stuff. And I think you should learn everything as soon as you can learn it. Obviously, there's fundamentals and stuff that you have to learn. You know, you should be able to pass guard, you should be able to take the back, you should be able to attack the most basic submissions. But I'll teach like I said, obviously you're allowed to use it, the straight foot lock from day one. I teach in my beginners class all the time, but I mean, you must know, you know, teaching yourself and doing it as long as there's doing a straight foot lock, and then there's doing it the way a black belt would do a straight foot lock with little hidden gems and other details and stuff, which I'll give to the white belts and stuff. But I think it's more down to trusting the individual, sort of giving the white belt a heel hook and enrolling in that class and watching themselves trying to heel hook. It's very dangerous, and I think that's it's not that they can't do it. It's just, do they know when to tap or not? Because you know it yourself, like when you're attacking someone's arm or shoulder, you get a lot of warning before something goes crunch. When you're hanging off someone's knee or their ankle, it can just go like that and it's gone. So I think a safe one. But I think now that we've heel hooks now are more mainstream and everyone wants to be a leg locker and do the leg locks and stuff. We're a bit more relaxed at Andy's now. So the heel hook class is actually open to all grades. Yeah. So we have a lot of grades, but everyone is told when in a class, you know, just if you feel pressure or you're uncomfortable. Just that. And we haven't had one injury in that school in 2.5 years of heel hooking in that class, not one.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that says it already, isn't it?
Paying attention.
What one of the questions that I've been trying to ask everyone that comes on is what one bit of advice would you give to new starting white belts?
Piece of advice is I'll say to them what was said to me 11 years ago was, you get out what you put in. You know what I mean? The more, and I really believe, I sound like I'm sort of preaching or, you know, like, honestly, man, like the more I've put into jiu-jitsu, the more I've got out of it. You know what I mean? It really is, and you must know, life changing. You know, what it is for me personally, my family, you know what I mean, my social life, the people that I've met. You know what I mean? Some of my best friends, like in their 50s, and if you bump into people like that in the pub, you probably wouldn't even talk to them. But because we share the same passion, We try and kill each other on a daily basis. They're like my closest friends, you know. So
Yeah,
you get out what you put in, 100%. Just don't stop and keep going. You know what I mean?
mate. To tell you what, one of the things I've always said to people about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is really hard to actually explain to people that don't train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is like the sense of community
Yeah,
and
100%.
the people you like. The bit that I love the most is the people you meet. So
Yeah.
the people from all different walks of life. So even if I didn't teach in a gym, you can get into a gym and there could be a police officer in there, there could be a lawyer in there, could be a doctor in there, could be a binman in there, could be anyone. And when they come into the room, everyone's equal in that respect, and see each other as friends. And even when I've travelled to like Brazil or America and other places like that, how welcoming people are
Yeah.
because you train jiu-jitsu, or they see. I have a funny story actually. I was at a Ross Nichols seminar with a friend, and I snapped my big toe right off. Yeah, and anyway, I had to go to A&E, and we were sat in A&E, and this is what I say to people about the beauty of jiu-jitsu. I sat in A&E, and I'm wearing obviously, as you know, Chetmat is our team, so we're wearing a Chetmat hoodie, and sat there feeling sorry for myself, and we were going to be sat there for hours, mate, like hours as well, because it's not a bad injury, is it, on the list of things, you know? So anyway, I see there's lots of people coming in and out, and a guy sees us and calls me in, and I'm thinking, I look over to Dave, and I'm like, it's weird, we're being called in already. This is strange. And it turned out this guy was like like head of he's a male nurse, head of the nurses, but trained at Checkmat. And because he'd seen the hoodie, he pulled us in because he recognised us. And it's little things like that. It's like little cheats to life you get. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I've had it,
mate. It's who you know.
mate. I've had it where I've gone into like a fudge shop. I went into a fudge shop with my kids, and we were picking fudge. And I don't know if you know, fudge is ridiculously expensive to buy. And my kid's obviously picking the biggest bits, and I'm thinking, God, how much is this going to cost? And the guy behind the counter is like, "Oh no, you can have it for free." And I was like, "What? Why?" And he's like, "Oh, don't you remember me? Like, you used to teach me like about 10 years ago." And I'm like, I haven't got a clue who you are, but thinking, thank you so much, thank you so much. But it's just little things like that, isn't it? It's they're the beautiful little connections you make with people that you can't really explain to someone who's never done it before.
Not at all.
It's not like,
isn't it?
Like you say about the whole, like I used to play football as well. I was massively into football, the same as yourself. And it's not even the same as like football. So, you couldn't just go somewhere and someone see that you play football and then they'll sort of like take you into their home. Do you know what I mean? Whereas jiu-jitsu, someone could see that you're wearing jiu-jitsu, and as weird as it and as cheesy as it sounds, they would take you into their home. Do you know what I mean?
100%, man. 100%. Yeah. I don't know. It's something about knowing someone else that trains jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? I'm summer before last, I went for an MRI on my knee when I had my meniscus tear confirmed, and I remember being collected by the lady who was taking me down for the scan, and she noticed my cauliflower ear. And she goes, "Oh, you play rugby?" I said, "Oh, no, I don't play rugby. I do a thing called." She goes, "Oh, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu." I goes, "Oh, yeah." She goes, "You know about it?" She goes, "Oh, yeah, I'm a brown belt." And then she started talking about she's come over from Japan. She's doing some degree in the UK, and she does. And I was supposed to go in for my scan at something like 4:30. I didn't get out there for like 7 because we ended up speaking for like an hour about jiu-jitsu, doing this. Where do I train? Where does she train? And this, that, and the other. Before we realised, this bloody time had gone by. But it's literally, you bump into people all the time. No matter, especially where the academy is so close to my house, I can't go to town without at least bumping into 2 or 3 people that train at Andy's or train jiu-jitsu. It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Right. One of the questions I've just seen has come up, because there's quite a few have come up. Big Bomber Bear 2486 has asked the same question about brown belts as that was asked about white belts. So what advice would you have for new brown belts?
Oh, no advice. It depends on what. I mean, I think brown belt is a great belt. Like I said, it's I look at my jiu-jitsu like myself, like I'm playing a computer game, and I've just got an upgrade, but the upgrade is for me. So now you can start working on the knee bars and the toe holds and stuff like that. Your game will just go boom. It's like getting a new toy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've been given this new ability to go to the academy and try and tear people's ankles and knees off. It's phenomenal. Just enjoy it, and don't be in any rush. Now you're a fresh brown belt to get a black belt. Wear that belt with pride and enjoy brown belt. I love brown belt. Absolutely love my brown belt. So much so that, when Roger took my brown belt off my waist, Mauricio laughed at me and said, the state of my belt it's basically blue underneath.
I remember your belt.
Yeah.
I remember seeing your belt when we came to your academy, mate. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. It literally fell off. I was in no rush to get rid of that thing. But just enjoy it, man. Like, enjoy it. And obviously, now you can, in competition, look for the toe holds and the knee bars. If you train them now, or you're going to start training them, it's phenomenal, man. Like I said, it's like getting a new toy.
You know what? I mean, how did it feel getting your black belt with Hodger and Mauricio there? Obviously, I know that Andy Roberts is your coach, but how did it feel with people like themselves, legends, being there?
When obviously I trained with Roger a lot. I used to like I said, I just like to train and learn from everyone. So I used to go to Roger's every Friday with an old friend of mine. We used to train Roger's lunch class every Friday. So I've met Roger. I think I was training jiu-jitsu like 3 weeks, and Andy had him there for a seminar. You know what I mean? So I was 3 weeks into jiu-jitsu white belt, and I was learning from Roger Gracie. And then the more you get to know him, he's in and out of Andy's quite a bit. And I used to go to Roger's and train a lot. And at that time, Andy was only a first-degree black belt, so he couldn't give out any black belts.
Yeah.
And we were there doing a seminar, and I knew I was due, but you sort of know and you don't know. And then and Andy came up to have Roger tie my black belt around my waist and have Mauricio say to me after I got it, "You deserve that." It meant it couldn't be more legit. You know what I mean? Like, say to me, "Oh, it means something." Well, Roger Gracie tied it around my waist. You know what I mean? You can't get no more legit. Your head, the head instructor from your sort of lineage has given it to you and said, "Yep, Jay's definitely a black belt. I tied it around his waist." It's incredible, man. Absolutely incredible watching him tie it around my waist, and then Mauricio to be there as well. So like the godfather of jiu-jitsu in the UK and stuff. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy, man.
Man, it was similar for myself, funny enough, because I had Hiko and Leo Vieira.
Yeah.
For mine. It's pretty special feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which doesn't, do you know what? It doesn't take anything away from your actual professor and your coach, because actually it means just as much on them, because you know they're going to be harsher than these other people are going to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, there is something special to it when it's people you've grown up watching, or you think, fucking hell, one day I want to be as good as him, and then that guy's there with you. Do you know what I mean?
Oh god, yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
So it's
highlight videos of these people, and I mean, he's that good, he's world class, he's the best, he's this, and then he's standing in front of you doing this with your black belt. It's
blows you away, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible, man.
A couple other guys asking questions, so sorry to kind of repeat, because some people might have missed. Angry Steve has asked, would you recommend a new purple belt to start training leg locks now, or wait until the later stages of purple?
No, well, train them as soon as you can, man. I don't know why hold back. I've got like a couple of purple belts that I train with, Connor Campbell and Cameron Berriton, right? And they started training heel hooks at the end of their blue belt, and they're submitting black belts. Like black belts that refuse to learn leg locks and stuff like that. They're full on.
It's a game changer, mate, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a game changer.
Belts. And I don't mean like struggling to do it, mate. I mean running through them. It's sort of like, should that really be happening? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wish that we'd done heel hooks sooner. I wish I'd learnt them from blue or purple belt rather than at black belt. Because technically speaking, I've only been doing heel hooks myself, like the way we've been doing them for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I'd started sooner, 100%. I started now, definitely.
I tell you what, like you said, it changes open guards, doesn't it? It changes De La Riva, it changes reverse De La Riva. Even half guard, it changes half guard.
Everything.
And
absolutely everything.
And the thing is, I try to, because I was, so funny enough, like I started to learn them more heavily when I was brown belt. So I'd already done knee bars and toe holds before I was brown belt, but I hadn't looked at heel hooks or anything like that until I was brown belt. And I remember sort of having a few debates with people about it, and the way that I used to explain it to them was like, imagine if like me and you can roll, and we will roll, and I might catch you once, and you might catch me once, and that's kind of how it goes. And then I might roll with another guy, and I might catch him twice, and he doesn't catch me at all. Then you give me this new move, right? And I'm going to catch you 10 to 15 times, and you'll catch me none. And then I'll roll with that guy, and I'll catch him 10 to 15 times, and he can't catch me at all. That's what it's like. Like your averages and percentages of successful submission rate, which is a mouthful, just goes through the roof. Just goes through the roof, doesn't it? Changes everything.
It's because the lock, like you said, man, the lock is so devastating. Like heel hook. I mean, you look at Vinny last night with Craig. I mean, that was horrible. Mate. Yeah, did you read it? Did you read what he put? When he was saying about he didn't actually feel it. He didn't feel. Well, even Craig said it afterwards. Like the leg lock and the break weren't surprising. The fact that he was trying to continue to fight afterwards was. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. But it's just, I think the heel hook, and not just leg locks, but particularly the heel hook, changes everything. It's changed. Like, you know, Danaher's team have changed jiu-jitsu forever. I mean, like. Yeah. Now everybody, you watch all the highlights on Instagram of grappling industries and things like that. It's just people trying to leg lock everyone now. You know what I mean? But I think with that, you get a lot of people that think they're leg lockers because they've seen a couple of Danaher's DVDs and YouTube videos and stuff. But it's like, you know, I mean, there's leg lockers and there's leg lockers, and I would never go around and say, oh yeah, I'm a leg locker, because no, I'm just a black belt in jiu-jitsu and I do like to do everything. I would like to be a lot better at leg locks. Camille Wilk, that's a leg locker. When that man grabs your leg, you have seconds. And I've been there, I felt it. That man, you know what I mean? Like, that is a leg lock. Robert Deagle, who I fought on Grabfest when my knee went, that man is a leg locker. He knows. He goes your leg and that's it. You know what I mean? But you get people that want to try them and learn them, but, you know, go around saying, oh, I'm a leg locker and this, and you think, are you?
What's your advice for people that want to... like, say, for instance, brown belts and stuff that want to become better leg lockers and want to be leg lockers? What's your advice to them? A certain way to train, or a certain way to do it in a system?
Like I said, when we first started, we started. It's an hour and a half class. We do like 40 minutes technique, 20 minutes warm, and then half an hour full sparring, heel hooks. Why I look at is pick a position you enjoy, a position you're really good at. You know, I've always liked butterfly guard and reverse de la Riva. I like berimbolas and inverted and stuff like that. So I thought it's a great place for me to start, and then just add the entries into a position you're already good at, and then start working on positions you're not so good at, but add the entries in that you are good at. You know what I mean? Like, I could take inverted entries from butterfly guard and still use them in normal de la Riva and reverse de la Riva. You know what I mean? So it's what you enjoy doing, and it's like anything, my man. You know, you're a great instructor yourself. It's sticking with it. People get so bored or lose that sort of drive so quickly. Oh, I haven't hit that. I can't hit that. No, you won't unless you keep going and going and going and going. And eventually it will become second nature. I've had moves that I've been drilling with the lads at the academy that I've struggled with, and a week later, I'm hitting them with my eyes closed and rolling. You know what I mean? It's just there. My body's like, oh, I know what I'm doing from there. You know what I mean? So I always think, pick an entry from the position you're familiar with, and then work on that. It's like learning the open guard, transitioning from de la Riva to X guard and back to single leg X and stuff like that. It becomes second nature, and then you'll just start doing it from positions that you're not so good at. You know. So I said, well, when I get back to it, I'm just going to solely work butterfly guard. You know, just entries from butterfly guard and that, just constant. Just stick to it. And I know I'm going to fail. I'm not going to have purple belts past my guard. I'm not going to have bad spots and stuff like that. But that's the good bit, yeah? You got to learn and keep going and going. Eventually, it's just there. And it will stay there, you know?
And that exactly what you're saying there is the beauty of it, isn't it? If you can get into that mind frame in the gym, that it doesn't matter if someone passes you. God, it doesn't matter if they beat you there and then, because you have a set goal in mind, something you're trying to target yourself. And it's not, I explained this to people before, you don't even have to tell someone that. You don't say to them, yeah, well, it's only because I was trying to do this. There's a reason why you got that. You keep that inside because it doesn't matter.
No.
but that's the best type of mindset to train with, isn't it?
Okay.
If you can just work for specific things.
I think, you know, and I've been a victim of it myself, you know, is your ego can kill you, completely kill you. You know, I mean, you know, I've gone into certain roles at the academy, and I know they can be hard. I thought, okay, I'll just play my own game. I'll just shut off what I'm trying to learn and do. You know what I mean? And it's no good for me. It's crap. You know, I'm still beating the person, but I'm not doing what I want to learn. You know what I mean? So I want to take this person I know gives me trouble, and if I can pull off this new move on him, I know I've learned it. I know it works. You know, but I try and kick that out of myself quite quickly, and I do with the guys that I train closely with and the students at Andy's is open up, have fun, try things. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, it's never going to work. You're never going to know if it does work or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There was one question I did miss. I'm sorry, Connor. I missed it. It was quite a way back, but we did actually answer the question. He basically said, "What's a dream matchup for you? Someone for you to fight, dream matchup." And obviously, you said Gordon Ryan, but he wanted to know why. So I'm gonna let you just quickly repeat that again.
I mean, who wouldn't want to fight Gordon Ryan at this point? I bet if I was to say to you, mate, who would you want to fight? It'd probably be someone like Gordon Ryan. Yeah,
yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? You can look back and say, I fought the best no-gi grappler in the world at that point. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's something that it's not. I mean, obviously, winning is the big thing in competition, but sometimes it's not always about that, man. Sometimes it's about the experience. And, you know, when I fought Ashley the second time in Grapple Fest, I got offered that fight about 15 hours notice. I was supposed to fight Neil Atkins, who I'd been training for. And Neil's another really good black belt. And then Chris phoned me and said, look, Ashley's opponent's out. I'm going to get Neil to fight Spencer Hewitt. Would you be interested in fighting Ashley? And it was a split second. Yeah, fuck yes. You know what I mean? It's just, but going into that fight was sort of like, chances of me beating one of the best grapplers in the world at that point on that short notice was slim. But it was like, fuck it. You got to do it, haven't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a war. You know what I mean? He never caught me. You know, he dominated the fight, but he couldn't submit me. And I felt, you know, walking away from fighting him, someone like that, you know. So, yeah, Gordon Ryan for sure, man. He's the best.
Mate, Valmir Neto's just come on. He just said, he's saying hello. Jay Butler, very tough BJJ competitor and very nice guy. He wanted to say hello. He's shooting off because he's got to teach an online class, but he wanted to say hello.
Absolute legend, man. And again, it's people like that, you know what I mean? Like Neto, who I've met a few times. Like when I fought Danny, when I fought Marco, they're just, and again, going back to people like Marco, one of the nicest people that I've ever met. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that jiu-jitsu communities, absolute legends. And legends like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know me. And that means a lot to me. To other people, oh, it's just this person. No, to me, it means a lot. You know what I mean? It's a big thing for me.
Well, mate, so I don't know when you've been watching the others, after an hour of stream being on, Instagram cut them off. Yeah. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to start another stream and we'll finish off our last little bit of chat on there. So I'll come off this one and start another one. All right, buddy?
Right.
I'll speak to you in a minute. And we're back. Hope everyone's enjoying the chat. Guys, please feel free to put your questions in. We will answer as many of those questions as possible. So please feel free to ask Jay as many questions as you like. Keep firing them in. And there he is. We're back.
Mate.
It gives me a chance to put the light on, so it was good. Yeah, I don't know why they do that. They just Instagram sort of have a cap off at an hour, and then you have to cut off. And it was yeah, I have to do it for you. To be honest, the only one I didn't do it for was the Mark Hunt one, but that's because I was doing it for the charity Be More Foundation.
Yeah, I see that.
So and wanted to try and keep it quite positive, and there was a lot of stuff that wasn't particularly positive. So yeah, can I go down that route? But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a fact. Like, it's quite an argued part of jiu-jitsu, isn't it? The footlocks and heel hooks and and that side of it. And I know a lot of the guys that are watching that are sort of like very, very in their belts, want to learn these submissions, but aren't really being shown them in their academies. So for the people that aren't really being shown it in their academies and in their gyms, you know, what would your advice be to them if that's the case?
It's funny you asked this question. I'm not going to say the person's name, but I fought one of the best black belt competitors in Europe a while ago that beat me. And he said to me, oh, you know, I didn't want to fight you no-gi because I know about the leg locks and the heel hooks, and we just don't train them. We're not allowed to train them. Right. And he said, I'm actually started to go to another school to learn them while I'm training my schools. I feel that a guy of my level should know them. And I thought, it's completely correct. You know what I mean? You should. Yeah. At your level, you know what I mean? The good thing, man, is, and this is so good, Andy, he's got an open door policy. Train wherever you want with whoever you want. You know, he's confident in the guys at his academy and himself that you're always going to come back. That's home. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know, I make trips to London. You know, train with Ross and people like that when I can. You know, I go to the North 12 and I train with David Anuma. The man's knowledge is crazy. He's like an encyclopedia of jiu-jitsu. Like, I think I know certain things and he'll just add a little bit to it, and I'm like, that's brilliant. And I use it all, you know what I mean? So if that's the case, that if it's not being taught in your school in this sort of day and age, you need to speak to your head instructor, or say, look, I'm going to find a local school that does do it and maybe train once or twice a week with them. Because you shouldn't be held back, because you're going to get to the point where you're going to compete and you're going to get leg locked. Yeah, there was a, I was the last Ace Submission Grappling, a good friend of mine, Gareth Davies, was competing on there. And there was a certain club there. I'm not going to name the club. It's quite a big one. And there had 7 competitors on this card, mate. And no one will lie, all 7 of them fell prey to a heel hook. All 7 of them. You think law of average, one of them. And I said to the coach at the end, I said, you know, what was going on? And he said he was not allowed to do it. Not allowed to do heel hooks. I'm like, you come to a submission-only event not doing heel hooks. It's like, what do you expect's going to happen? Like, come on. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's I would definitely seek even PT with a black belt that does them, because I think you have to know them. You have to. Even if you don't want to use it, you have to know it without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, that knowledge is power in that respect, isn't it? Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, you know, the way I describe it to some of my students is, you know, if I'm PTing like a white or a blue belt, I said, if we're going to war, you know, with my experience and your experience, at this point, you're going to war with a pea shooter and I'm going with a nuclear warhead. Who's going to win? Yeah. You know what I mean? And each week, you you learn something. You get like a new bit of artillery, a new soldier, a new tank. And eventually you'll have it. And then it's just going at it. But you have to know these things. It's like having an ace in your sleeve. So much so that I've rolled with a lot of good black belts that don't do it. And they don't feel like black belts because I know I can heel hook them. It sounds crazy, but I've seen purple belts do it. It's insane. But I completely agree. That's the way it's going, you know. And I didn't want to be that that black belt that got left behind and was like, nah, I don't need to do heel hooks and this, that, and the other. I thought, do you know what? No. And I tell you what, I'll praise him for this. And that is a good thing about David Anuma. Was he like a 3rd degree black belt now? Almost a 4th degree. And he hit me up after I fought my 2nd fight in Polaris and said, oh, you know, do you want to pop down to my academy and we'll have a chat and we'll do some training together and show me some of the leg lock stuff and I'll teach you some stuff. And I'm like, you're a 3rd degree. And he's incredible. He's so humble. He's like, yeah, I'm not too up on the heel hook stuff. Can you show me some stuff? And so I've become really, really good friends with him. And so I go see him at least twice a month. You know, he'll show me some crazy open guard stuff and I'll show him some leg lock stuff, you know, and it's just nice for time. It's brilliant, you know, but it's, yeah, definitely go seek someone out and learn it. Yeah, mate, I like that advice. It's true. A little bit changing subjects a little bit. Just talking about what you'd fought on Polaris. So you think one of the most elite events in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. What was it like preparing for Polaris, and how was it when you were there backstage getting ready to go on? How did you feel? How was the nerves? What was the mental process of that? Do you know what? When it was like when I first started, I fought on Polaris 6 and I fought Sean McDonough. And Sean normally fights middleweight, and I fight featherweight. So I'm always 7 kilos, and Sean's incredible, man. That man's grappling is incredible, and he's a good guy, really nice bloke. And Polaris sort of put up a poll of who you'd like to see on the show, and I got such a huge response from people, not just people at the academy, but so many people tagged me in it, to the point where Polaris contacted me and said, look, you're extremely popular, would you like to fight on the show? And I said, yeah. So they said, would you be interested in who would you be interested in fighting? And I just said, look, you know, I'm humble, it's just a privilege to fight on Polaris, so I'll fight anyone, I don't care. And they come back with Sean McDonough, and I agreed in that second, of course I'll fight Sean. And then going to the event, the day of the weigh-ins, you know, being in the room with Benson Henderson, Craig Jones, and all these other world-class guys, it's like, it was just a bit mind-blowing, you know what I mean? A bit starstruck, the first one. And obviously me and Sean had a really good fight. He ended up catching me. You know, he's a great compare, and I love the whole process of it all. I love getting ready for it. I love the big stage, hearing them call my name. And then it was Polaris 8. I got a call a week before the event to fight Ben Robson on short notice. And of course I jumped at it. I took that fight. And that was in Wales. And again, getting ready for that, I was training non-stop no-gi at the time. And we took a trip to Wales. And again, my changing room, I think Nicky Ryan, Craig Jones, Lachlan Giles, and Dan Strauss. And after I'd fought and I managed to get the win over Ben, and Ben's, and again, another great guy and a great competitor, we all sit in a circle, me, my corner team, Connor and Gareth, with Craig Jones, and we're talking about techniques. And it's sort of like, they're not celebrities anymore. They're sort of just equals. I mean, the amount of times, I think 6 times I've competed on the same show as Craig Jones now. It's crazy, you know what I mean? You see that is more and more regular and stuff. It sort of, you know, it becomes more normal. I mean, I've been on Grapple Fest 4 times now, and you know, I've shared the changing room with the Meow brothers, the Tulu brothers, you know, Matthias Denitz, you know, Craig Jones again, Lachlan Giles, and all these people. You know, and you just rolling with them, Imanari, you know, and it's a phenomenal experience, and I'm so happy that I've had the chance to experience that. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's black belts out there that deserve it way more than I do, and that are better than me. But I'm taking the opportunity. You know, and I was gutted that I didn't get the opportunity to fight Bryn on the last one that was supposed to happen, because I was obviously booked to fight on that, and obviously this virus hit and we had to call it off and stuff. But I'm hoping to get my third shot on Polaris after this. But I would like to fight someone my own weight. Like Ben's the other person I fought on there my weight. Obviously fighting Bryn, he's a big lightweight, almost a middleweight, and I was going up a weight class to fight him, and it was in the gi. I mean, who fights in the gi these days? You know, again, I was just doing it because he's another high level guy. You know what I mean? I just enjoy competing, man. There's nothing beats it at all. Yeah.
So how do you find yourself controlling the nerves and the adrenaline before those big matches, because they're in front of big crowds and on a stage under lights? How do you deal with the nerves, and do you get nervous before the fight?
Oh man, I think anyone that says they don't get nervous is a liar. I think there's always some, you know, I mean, like when I fought Cam on Bama, there are thousands of people in the Barclaycard Arena, and you're about to go have a fist fight with another trained athlete. You get nervous. You know, as confident as you are, you get nervous. For me, personally, it's having the right people around me. Like I've got, like I said, a few guys that I'm really close with the academy. People like Connor Campbell and Cameron and Gareth and Tom and these guys, and I have to have them come with me. And backstage, I have to have Connor or Cameron or Gareth or one of these guys backstage with me. Even if it's not to help me warm up or talk about jiu-jitsu, but it's to calm me down and keep me relaxed and keep me happy. And if I'm happy, I think when I don't care and I'm happy and I'm messing around, that is when the best jiu-jitsu for me comes out. That is when I feel I could beat anyone. You know what I mean? I just go out there and I will just go nuts. You know what I mean? So it's having the right people around you backstage that calms their nerves. You know what I mean? When you start to think that, you know, oh, I'm lucky to be here and this, that, and the other, you know, no. You know, I'll be told by them, no, you earned the right to be here. You're one of them. You're a high-level black belt that should be on these shows. But in my mind, I'm not. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, I think, like you say, everyone goes through that that nerves, just in a different way, don't they? Like you say, some people have got a little routine that they have to abide by and stick to, and if they deviate off that at all, it can throw massive spanners in the works.
Yeah.
But you're completely right. I mean, everyone's got that different type of little setup with their nerves. And I remember when, so when I used to fight MMA, to what I've tried to do, because I used to suffer really bad with nerves, really bad. And actually, I lost a lot of fights due to bad nerves and sort of in the end, talking myself out of it.
Yeah.
And funny enough, like, I don't know if you find it the same, but I found that coming, because I did MMA first before Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, weirdly enough, and coming from MMA background to then competing in Jiu-Jitsu, I don't get nervous at all for Jiu-Jitsu because it's not the same risk and danger, is it?
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Getting elbowed and kicked in the head is slightly different.
Yeah, completely
No,
different risk.
I totally agree with you, man. And the way I look at it is what do you get nervous for? You know what I mean? Because you know you've got that out switch anytime. You know what I mean? You can tap. I think my biggest fear when it comes to competing, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, my biggest fear is not losing, because I've lost plenty of times, and I'm probably still going to lose, you know, as much as I win as I can continue, because the higher you climb, like I have over the last couple of years, every name I get is a world-class or decent opponent. You think, well, it's 50-50. One mistake is him or me. You know what I mean? Is my biggest fear is not performing, is not being the Jay Butler that I know I am at the academy or I'm training out here. You know what I mean? It's not performing the way I know I can. That angers me. I hate that feeling.
Yeah. And it's one that sticks with you forever, isn't it? If you underperform. Yeah. And I think a lot of that's the thing that a lot of people don't think about as well is it's almost we don't have to deal with just losing. You have to deal with not looking good as well. And you've also got a student base who are looking up to you, and watching you perform. And depending on how well you do, depends on how they're going to formulate their thoughts about you as well, right? And how good you are as an instructor. So it's a lot of weight to take on shoulders, and that's why a lot of black belts don't compete. So that's why, like, I really, really take my hat off to people like yourself and a lot of other guys. Like when you said about maybe not deserving to be on the stage and stuff, you might see I pulled a bit of a face, because I think you really do deserve to be on that stage.
Thanks,
because you have put yourself out there, you have put yourself to compete, and you have beaten some really good high level guys and fought a lot of high level guys. So no one else deserves it more than you do, mate, because you are putting yourself in that environment. And as an Englishman as well, a lot of the English black belts aren't doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
a lot of people said that, like, you know, more black belts should fight more, put it on the line. You know what I mean? I think this is the time to do it. You know what I mean? A black belt it's a great thing. And you know the people you're fighting at other black belts are going to be good. You know what I mean? Especially, I just don't, for me, it puzzles me why people don't. You know, when you get some competitions, you must have it. You check the brackets, and there's just no one in them. I haven't fought the British Open in my own weight class in years. I've always had to go up to lightweight, because there's no featherweights that are entering it. You know what I mean? And I dropped down to adult or master 2 or whatever, just to get a fight. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, 100%. I think there should be more UK black belts that think, do you know what? Let's just compete. Yeah,
definitely. I agree. Mate, with that, one of the other things I obviously want to talk about is something that's happened to you personally. And I don't know, a lot of people might know about it and they might not know about it. But obviously, I want you to explain it more than me. But obviously, being a fighter and coming from a fighter's mind, mate, and battling something as big, the biggest thing we can all as humans battle, which is cancer. Just talk us through that process. I mean, what happened with the diagnosis, and how did it all unfold? What was the story, if you like?
What it was a form of skin cancer. Yeah, so when I was younger, I was messing around with a pellet gun with my friends, you know, as you do as boys, and I got hit in the face, just here. You can't really see the scar at the moment, it's quite dark, by a pellet. And I pulled it out, cracked on, and years have gone past, right? October, just gone. It opened up, and where I rolled so much, I thought I just caught a nail and picked it off and carried on. It scabbed over, then the scab would fall off and it started bleeding again. And this went on for a couple of months, and you can see it in some of my competitions. You see the open wound on my face. And you know what we're like, just ignored it. And my missus is like, go get it checked out. Just get it. It might be infected, all this, that, and the other. And it was Tuesday morning, I just finished PTing and I went to the doctors. And you never think when you go to a doctor's, you're going to walk out and you're going to hear that word. Yeah. I'd go in there, oh, you got an infection, get some cream, and I would crack on with my normal life. And he looked at it in a second, mate, and said, I think you've got a form of skin cancer. And I couldn't take it in. I was just like, what? Well, I'm fit as a fiddle with this, that, and the other. And he goes, I want you to get checked out by a dermatologist. So I walked out of the doctor and I phoned my wife and said, he thinks it's a form of skin cancer. And she was sort of like, oh, okay, well, we'll get this sorted out. We'll do this, that, and the other. And then I put the Sainsbury's and I literally sat in my car for about an hour. Like, you can't explain what it's like to be told that unless you've been told. Forever. You know,
we lost you for a second.
Told. And then my missus phoned me back and said, oh, you got me back? So I was sitting in the car for like an hour. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
Cool. And my missus phoned me back and she realised the severity of what I told her. And she was like, oh my God. And then it hit me. So I know what is going on at the moment. Obviously the coronavirus, it hit just before that started. You know what I mean? So things started to close down. I thought, I don't want to leave. So I went private. I got myself a skin specialist. I went to see him. And my God, private doctors ain't cheap.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And he confirmed it. And then I had to have a biopsy done just to make it 100%. So he cut a bit of my face out, sent off for analysis. And they come back and confirmed that it was a form of skin cancer and needed to be removed. So I said, okay, let's go through the process. So I was still PTing and training at the time. I sort of lost motivation to get up. One day, it's weird. 1 minute you get right, and then the next minute it'd be it'd be in your head, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, am I going to die? What's going to happen to me? Am I going to fall apart?" And it would be constant. And then when we got locked down, obviously I'm stuck at home, and it's jiu-jitsu took my mind off it. And obviously we're not being able to train to see my closest friends and basically my second family. It hit me really hard. And my wife, you know, without her and my kids, I think I'd have broken down. You know what I mean? And I managed to get hold of a good plastic surgeon, and he operated. It's been over 2 weeks now. He removed the whole tumor from my face. I've got like a 4-inch scar just at the top of my nose here that comes down my cheek, just to here. And what they do is they cut the tumor out, and they have to take a load of good skin with it. And I got the results back last Friday that he 100% successfully removed the tumor, and it hasn't spread. And he gave me the all clear of, at this point, I am cancer free.
Yeah, fantastic news. Absolutely brilliant news, mate. I couldn't be happier.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. The last 8 weeks or so have been the worst, man. Honestly, you can't. You know, I would go in for the academy when I first found out, and I just have no motivation to go back. And yeah, I wasn't me anymore. I feel like I wasn't Jay anymore. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's horrible, and but you have to carry on. You have to keep going. You know what I mean? And when he gave me the results, and I'm lucky, there's so many people out there that don't get the news that I've got. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I tell you what it has done, mate. It has made me realise what's important, where I want to go in life, and what I want to do. And when we get out of this, and I come back as a competitor, I am going to be the most open competitor there is. I am just going to go for it. I don't care if I lose quickly. I'm going to go for the kill. I'm going to go for crazy submissions, flying arm bars, flying triangles, because, you know, I mean, I've gone through a point where I could have lost everything to, I feel like I've been given a second chance at life. So I'm going to be more blunt with people. I'm going to speak my mind more. I'm going to tell people I love it more. You know what I mean? It's just, we might not get that. I might not get that chance again. You know what I mean? In my head, you know what I mean? So I think I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to go mad. So yeah, man. And getting back to something you mentioned earlier on about the jiu-jitsu community and stuff, the messages I've had from people, you know, I put it on my Instagram because I want people to be more aware that you have got to look after yourself. You know what I mean? Monday night, I was doing my normal advanced class, chilling with the boys. Life couldn't have been better. You know, 12 hours later, I got cancer. It's like, what the fuck's going on? You know what I mean? How quick our lives can change. Never take anything for granted, man. And I'm not going to from now on. And it's sad in my eyes. It took something like that to make me realise, you know what I mean? Like, There's,
And do you know what? It's funny because I was about to say that but we're all guilty of that, right?
yeah,
Taking life for granted, taking our missuses and our kids or our families, our friends, our jobs, our cars, everything for granted.
yeah,
And it takes something like that to make you stop and realise. Because, like you said, it's such a crazy notion to think that 1 minute you're teaching a class and you're going home 12 hours later, you're being diagnosed with the dreaded C word that everybody doesn't want to hear. No one wants to hear that.
yeah.
And then what? Like that? Your life changed like that?
Yeah, and like I said, man, the leading up to the operation and Friday morning was the worst. You know what I mean? Knowing that, because I got the phone call on the Monday from the surgeon's personal assistant saying, we've got your biopsy results, but I'm not allowed to read them to you. He's not going to be back till Friday. I was like, you know, to the point where my missus actually phoned her back and said, is there anything you can tell us? Because you can't really
do that.
What she'd phoned up for was just to check if he'd booked an appointment with me to see me. I said, no, he said he's going to phone me. And so last week, up until Friday, I was a wreck, mate. Absolute wreck. Thinking, what am I going to get news on Friday that it's spread and they've got to do more, you know what I mean, or what? But, you know, I was extremely lucky. And he said, no, this operation 100% success. And his exact words were, I want you to forget about it now. Just forget about it. Just, I know obviously you can't, but he said, just forget about it. It's done. You know, you're one of the lucky people. It's gone. You know what I mean? We managed to get it out. And it was a very, slow spreading cancer. So early they called it, the better as well. But yeah, man, like I said, you know, never take anything for granted. You know, really don't, because my life was perfect. Absolutely loving life. You know, working at the academy full time. Got my wife, my 4 kids, my friends, and your cancer. It's like the biggest kick in the bollocks. What?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And, to hear that news on Friday, my friend, was honestly, it was like being reborn again. I feel like I've been given a second chance, and I'm using this. I'm going to do a lot of things for people, you know. And sorry, mate. No, baby.
That's all right.
See you in the morning. Okay. See you in the morning. dad duties.
Dad duties, mate. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to make sure, mate, when I come back, I'm going to be a more dangerous competitor, and I'm just going to go compete as much as I can and just make sure I'm
amazing, mate.
Super
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
I mean, it's a brilliant. You know, I don't want to end the conversation with you, mate. It's a brilliant way to end it. But well, with some great news, and I'm so happy for you, mate, that you've had this rebirth, of yourself. And mate, and a lot of people can take a page out of your book and maybe start reliving their lives and restarting their lives now. And one of the things I've been ending all these chats with, because the main reason why I started these chats was because so many people were enjoying them so much, and it was kind of taking their mind away from all this crap that's going on. So one of the ways we've been ending these chats is to kind of get like the special person's advice for everybody. So in this time, what's your advice to everyone that's at home?
Stay active. I found that getting into a routine and doing it every day has made the days pass quicker and kept me occupied. I have a certain time of the day that I work out, like as if I was training jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? I'm studying more jiu-jitsu fights, obviously. And the moves. But the best thing is stay positive. And it sucks. It sucks for everyone. But you got to remember that it doesn't just suck for you. It does for everyone. Everyone's going through the same thing, you know. It's not an individual thing, it's a world thing. Everyone's going through it. And I'm telling you now, there will be a point where we're all sitting back, or we're all chilling in the academy, or whatever we like to do, or our favourite restaurant, and we're all going to go, do you remember when we were locked down and we couldn't do anything like that? You know what I mean? It's sort of like, how often has it been when you're leading up to a fight and you're nervous as hell 3 weeks later after the fight's done? Do you remember when you fought such and such? Yeah, you know, just stay positive, stay active, and keep watching good podcasts like what you're doing here, man. What you're doing, brilliant. You know what I mean? Entertaining people and stuff, and just stay positive, because it is going to come to an end at some point. We ain't going to be stuck in our houses forever. I'm telling you, it will. You know, there's always, again, you know, if I can come back from cancer, we can come back from being stuck in our houses for 24 hours a day.
100%, mate.
We will. There's worse things, and people are worse off than us. You know, just
mate, and it's been written in history, right? People have had to do this 50, 60 years ago, if not a little bit longer, for the World War Two, and being rationed and bits and bobs.
100%, man.
If they can do it, we can do it, and
And
we're lucky, aren't we?
Because
in this day and age, we've got things like this. We've got the internet. We can video call each other. There's lots of things we can do to keep active. They didn't have that back then.
No, 100%, man. 100%. We're lucky. Yeah.
So brilliant, mate. Well, look, it's been an honour to speak to you as always, really Jay, mate.
Thanks for speaking to me, man. It means a lot to me that you, of all the guys in the country you could speak to, you asked to speak to me, and it's a privilege, man. It really
mate, trust me.
I'll get some of the boys together and we'll come up and train as soon as this is
definitely, mate. You're always welcome, mate. You're always welcome. You're always welcome to come up and train. But thank you so much for sharing your experience and your story with us, mate. And I'll upload it all to YouTube, and I'll send you a message when it's all done. But thank you so much, and congratulations on the big news.
Mate. Thanks, it means a lot.
And I'll hopefully catch up with you soon, mate.
Definitely, 100%. You take care, dude.
Take care, bro. See you later, mate. See you, mate. Bye.